Okay, just loaded up round number 1. What the hell? Holy oh my god, they're all kanker, what the fuck? Hello everybody and welcome to Driversroom Sunday League. Yes, you heard it correctly. Sunday League, not the Driversroom Festival Speed. No, the series running prior to the DRFS races. We have DRSL. As you saw at the beginning, the first race, we don't talk about the first race. So, it's just, forget about that one. This is the real first race of the season, albeit race number 2. Anyway, we are here with the cards at the Willow Springs Horse Thief Mile in reverse. I think it's what it's called. Anyway, let's go to the grid order of today's race. In first on pole we have F1 in his Ferrari livery. Will that give him some extra horsepower? Who knows? Then in second place we have Law in his Red Bull livery card. Then third is for MS Too Fast in his anime card. Then Gary sporting his usual blank livery. Then we have Q8 in his Luigi card. Up next in 6th place we have Lionessy, also sporting a blank livery. In 7th we have Bullet with a simplistic minimalistic Mario livery. Then in 8th place we have JSR with a blank livery. 9th is for GSI J, also sporting a blank livery. Then 10th is for MJ Mercer, sporting his usual golf livery, always looking very good. Then we have Pensro in 11th, sporting his Thundercats livery. Then second to last is for Rocker, sporting his usual Atari livery. And last but not least we have Mr. Sean, also with a blank livery. That is the grid for today, with cards on a small track with not much runoff. This will be certainly a interesting race. Let's head to track and find out. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and they're out, and away we go for round number 2. It's a good getaway from F1 with Law behind him. And then are the 2 Germans already fighting for 3rd place. Too Fast going the long way round, trying to get past Gary, but in doing so losing a position to Q8, who drops down to 5th position again after Too Fast overtakes. And then we have Lionessy in 6th, holding off Bullet for the time being. Then JSR behind. There's a bit of dust getting thrown up, as Gary is now very close to the back of Law Power, and Law goes in a bit weirdly into the real final corner. Gary takes 2nd place ahead of Law now as they cross the line to start lap number 2. As Q8 has a bit of a twitch, and somewhere in the background there has been a bit of a mishap, as Mercer not getting a great run through the first couple of corners, as JSR is now also on the dirt. In the background we can see that GSRJ also going a bit wide in the middle sector, really easy to do so, as Q8 has made a big mistake in the final corner. GSIJ gets attacks Q8. Q8 now down to 9th position with Lionessy, who is off into the grass, or not grass, more like dust. There's no grass around here. As in front of him Mr. Sean also has collected the barrier, and Panthro has done so as well. So a lot of mistakes. Q8 as well goes on to the dust, as we now hear with the helmet cam on board with him. GSIJ also on the dust. It's mostly about surviving for now. Bullet now up in 5th position. Then we have Too Fast in 4th with Law now in 3rd and Gary in 2nd place. And F1 is already pulling away by quite a margin. Rocker now in 6th place with Mercer now back up into 7th, so it's really interesting to see how much of positions there is, or how big of a change in positions there is. Mercer was 11th at one point, and only 2 laps later he's up into 7th place. As Law is now really close to the back of Gary. As to start lap number 5, Gary taking a bit of dust with him, coming through the opening section of the lap. F1 currently holds the fastest lap with a 51 second .859. And I think he will only get quicker as the race goes on. Q8 very close to the back of GSIJ in the Luigi kart. As he tries to find his way past GSIJ. Lionessy with another 5-second penalty, I believe. He will have to serve that shortly. He's now a bit on his own, as he is sliding around, serving that penalty now. Will Panthro be able to get past? Panthro is not able to get past. Mercer now down into 11th again. So it's really tip for tap. Panthro going for a really short line through the first couple of corners. Almost a chicane it is. And Mr. Sean has already been left. Now Bullet is coming up behind him. Hopefully Mr. Sean will give Bullet room because of the blue flags. Bullet follows Mr. Sean in sympathy through the dust, and Mr. Sean pulls off now to let the others by, so fair play to him. Top 3 are now really close to each other. F1, having made a mistake in the last lap or so, is now really close to the 2nd and 3rd running cars. As behind there's Too Fast, already a big gap between him and Law. And Bullet behind the Too Fast as well. Ooh, and there is a change for 2nd position. Law going down the inside into turn number 3, it actually is, but the real turn 1, I think. As Law is now up into 2nd place, and Gary now down to third. But I don't think Gary will give up that easily and try to go for a return move. As Q8 and GSIJ are now really squabbling for that 6th place. GSIJ just ahead now as F1 is into the barrier, and that means that Gary and Law are now ahead. Even Too Fast is ahead of F1. Let's have a quick look at the replay. So F1 coming through the final corner to end lap number 8. And he just clips a bit of curb. Manages well to keep it out of the barriers and not get a penalty. But yeah, that has cost him big time. And he has now lost the lead, is even off the podium. And it's now Gary who leads. Law was in the lead momentarily, but he made a mistake and lost that lead. And now it is Too Fast who is suddenly in the podium position. Let's see if he can keep it there. Linus now chasing after Rocker for 8th place. Has he gone up now around the outside? Will he make that? Oh, he slides out, not really able to get past, as there's a yellow flag up in front. I am not sure for who that was, but it is still Rocker who holds that 8th place from Linus. Oh, as Rocker gets onto the dust and Linus waits for Rocker, thinking it was his fault. So good sportsmanship there, as Rocker has a 5-second penalty for collision with the barrier. Linus also lets Pensrow through. And Mr. Sean, a bit twitchy. Mr. Sean really not liking this circuit or the karts, or a combination of both. As Law is now a bit closer to Gary. And Too Fast still ahead of F1. F1 having a massive snap of oversteer, but managing to hold it. Bullet still in 5th with GSIJ and Q8 still battling it out for 6th position. So they are really on the same level tonight. Mercer now in 8th place with Pensrow, with Rocker in 10th. Pensrow now up into 9th place after Rocker served his penalty. Linus getting lapped by the leaders. As Rocker now also getting lapped. Stays clear of the 2 leaders who are really close to each other. It's now just waiting before a mistake, or if a mistake may happen, who will be the one who makes the biggest mistake? Will it be Gary or will it be Law? As Pensrow they're running wide, rejoining on the circuit, luckily not colliding with Law or Gary. As now F1 behind, as Gordon past Too Fast still really close. As now there's some lap traffic, Rocker trying to get out of the way, but it is the most technical section of the track, that ending of the lap, or beginning actually it is. The finish line is just before that. Q8 has finally managed to get past GSIJ. and Mercer will be the next to get left. There it is, the blue flags are already out. Gary and Low Power aren't very close yet, so blue flags have been retracted now. Oh, but Mercer goes off. He clipped the dust and he is off, and he has got a 5-second penalty for their collision. GSIJ got a 3-second penalty for promptly corner cutting, as it is still really close between the top 2 and top 4 as well. Who F1 also a bit twitchy, coming out of sector number 1. And Tufos behind. As behind Tufos there was a lapped car who spun off, sorry. As Rocker, Penstrow and Mercer are really close. Mercer will surfing that penalty, so he will get overtaken by the both of them. Who will come out on top between Rocker and Penstrow. As I believe GSIJ has actually retired. Same for Lionessy. F1 closing in on to the back of the 2 leaders, trying to make some of that Ferrari power do the work for him, maybe get him a bit of extra horsepower. Oh, as he goes a bit deep into, or not deep, a bit wide into, oh, but there's Law! Law has spun out, and he is now being passed by F1, making a little mistake. And that has cost him a very valuable position, and that also means that Gary is now a bit more in the clear. And Gary starts lap number 17. We are at almost halfway race time. Now everybody except for the top 4 is a bit on their own. Bullet in 6th, Q8 in 5th. Then we have Rocker in 7th, Penstrow in 8th, and there Mercer goes off again in 9th place, making a mistake in the opening section of the track, and Mr. Sean now still in last place, unfortunately for him. And now Too Fast is closing up to the back of Law. As Too Fast sets a new personal best, a 52.9. And that also shows how quick F1 really is when he is out in front with that 51.8, more than a second quicker than MS2 fastest personal best lap. And now it's just about not making many mistakes. Penstrow and Rocker still very close to each other. Then Mercer is a bit further behind, then we have Mr. Sean, so it is actually the top 2, then we have the top or battle for first, battle for third, that are really going on, and the battle for 7th place. as Bullet gets out of the way of Gary. Getting the blue flags shown, and I will assume that he also makes way for F1. Yes, he does. So good awareness from Bullet. As Mr. Sean is off again at the beginning of lap number 17 for him. Meanwhile, at the beginning of lap number 20 for Gary. Now rounding this final corner. And F1 gained a lot of time through that opening section of the circuit. Oh, as Law makes another mistake, clipping the inside at turn number 3. That is the exit, going a bit too shallow, and that has cost him with another position. Now he really needs to work for that podium if he wants to get it. As I know that Too Fast won't give him that podium very easily. Rocker has now cleared away from Pensro, because Pensro made a mistake, got into the barriers, and also has a 5-second penalty now dished out to him, and that will get him close to Mercer, as we saw a bit up ahead, Q8 making a bit of a mistake. Gary now with F1, really close between the two of them, is now on board with F1. Is there gonna be a change for the lead? Mr. Sean is ahead, pulls off to the left to give room to the leaders. Is there gonna be a big send from F1 into turn 1? Ooh! F1 gets it a bit wrong into the first chicane. Let's now close up to and John Mercer. Mercer also letting them through, so they can continue on battling. As there's almost nothing that separates these two drivers. Oh, as I say that, F1 gets onto the dust and loses a lot of time. Then further back we have Too Fast, still with Law, trying to make out who is gonna be that final podium sitter. Q8 now knowing the leaders are close, as F1 is off again, so F1 now, he is the one who is cracking under the pressure of going for that win, making two bigger mistakes, or making a mistake then a bigger one only a lap later, trying to catch up to Gary, as Too Fast is into the dust. What happened there? He was suddenly off not a very convenient place. So let's take a look at the replay to see what happened. So it was Law who was behind Too Fast, but Too Fast doesn't get a great run as they head up onto the... Oh! He just drops it. He gets his right front tire into the dust, and that just spins him out completely. Oh, that's so unfortunate for MS Too Fast. Really sad to see that that is the way how his championship has, or no championship, how his race has unfolded. As Pancho got a bit of a punt from Law. I don't think he meant that. Probably because of the blue flags. So now Law is really, he has got a big gap behind. As Tufos also gets a 5-second penalty dished out for a Barry collision, so not having a good lap, that's for sure. As Mercer is now in 8th place, with Benfro now in 9th. He needs to serve a penalty, and Tufos will serve a penalty with him, although they are not on the same lap or battling for the same position. F1 is catching Gary, that's for sure. As there aren't really any other battles happening on track right now. At least not for position, maybe with some lapped cars. Because one simple mistake will cost you about half a lap. It shows Law is still on pace, so if F1 makes another mistake, as he almost does there, Law might be looking for a 2nd place. For Tufos is now just damage limitation, trying to keep this 4th place, and he certainly will, seeing that Q8 is almost 1.5 laps behind him. Q8 who pulls off to the left hand side to let Law through. So also good job to him for letting or to sticking to those blue flag rules. Bullet now coming up to Mr. Sean. Bullet setting his personal best lap. Maybe with a bit of help with some slipstream from Mr. Sean. As he now gets past Mr. Sean. Bullet isn't actually that far away from Q8. As Law gets in a bit onto the dust. And F1 is coming up rather quickly to Gary as we are on board with his helmet cam. You can see that little dash on his steering wheel. It's telling him some information, but nothing much that you would want to see right now. It's just pedal to the metal right now. He did set a purple sector number 1. Can he convert it to a fastest lap of the race in its entirety? Now coming up to the back straight, then flat out through this corner. Oh, I want to say if you get the right line, F1 nearly did not, and as a result of that loses out big time on that fastest lap attempt. But still, that victory is within touching distance. It is only 5 minutes left on the clock, so approximately 5 laps, maybe 6 laps left to go. F1 again going purple to the first sector, gaining around about 2/10 on Gary. As for the rest of the field, nothing much happening. Rocker letting Law go by. Beginning of lap number 30. Gary still holding the lead, but for how much longer? F1 really pushing to try to get past. And he's now really close. Gary going even semi-defensive. And F1 is not gonna do it around the outside. What a move would that have been. As they now start lap number 31 into the first chicane. You do not want to go side by side through there. That is a recipe for disaster, as there's a bit of a bump. And F1 notices his mistake, that he gave that bump. Let Gary go through again. Good sportsmanship shown here by F1. He probably did it also because he knows that he is just slightly quicker than Gary. Gary, who goes deep in the second sector, is now dropping down to second place. F1 takes his lead that he held at the beginning of the race, and now with only 3 laps left to go, it is F1 who is leading this race. 4 seconds slower, so Law is now also closing in on them. Approximately 7-8 seconds between the two of them. As they are still almost side by side, not that you can really drive side by side on this track. But in racing this is almost side by side. They are really close to each other, less than a car length at some times. Maybe now a car length of 2. Still really close. F1 runs a bit wide. Will cost him some speed, some very critical speed. As they now start what will be the penultimate lap. And it's now just a job to F1 to keep it clean, keep it on the road. As further behind, it is still about the same as it was a couple of laps ago. It's only at the front where there's a real battle being fought. As they are bumper to bumper heading into the final corner. Going on to the final lap of this race, lap number 34. Gary had a little look, not really able to convert it, as he makes a mistake going into turn number 3. As there's a bit of lag. You certainly don't want that happening whilst on the last lap fighting for that victory. He lost some time to F1. Yeah, you can see about 7/10 of his personal best. So half a second lost, maybe with that bit of a snap. And with only 1 corner left to go, final lap light is flashing. F1 is gonna take victory in round number 2 of DRSL. What a fantastic race. Gary takes second, also very well done. Final podium sitter is Follow, who slows down in celebration, skidding across the line. He takes 3rd place. Too fast already crossed the line. He takes 4th. Q8 will take 5th place. Then Bullet in 6th, not much happening for him. He will take 6th place, and just up ahead is Rocker. He will take 7th. And then Pentra will take 9th. Mercer, last car running, he will take 8th, and Mr. Sean will take 10th place. That was it for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe for plenty more racing content. And congratulations to the winner of this round, F1. He and Gary, has to be said, drove a fantastic race with a real good battle for the lead. Anyway, that was it for tonight. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe for plenty more content. And I will see you all next time with some more Drivers Room Sunday League. Until then, I wish you all a good night. Until then, have a good one. Bye bye!